Hello, hello, mic check. Hello, hello, hello.
ভব বন্ধন জগ বন্দন বন্দে তোমায় নিরঞ্জন নররূপ ধর নিরঞ্জন নররূপ ধর নির্গুণ গুণময় মোচন অঘ দূষণ জগ ভূষণ চেদ ঘন কায় জ্ঞান জন বিমল নয়ন জ্ঞান জন বিমল নয়ন ভীষণে মোহ যায় ভাস্বর ভাব সাগর তীর উন্মাদ প্রেম পাহাড় ভক্তার জন যুগল চরণ ভক্তার জন যুগল চরণ তারণ ভব জিম্ভিত যুগ ঈশ্বর জগ ঈশ্বর যোগ সহায় নিরঞ্জন সমাহিত মান নিরঞ্জন সমাহিত মান নিরখে তব কৃপা ভঞ্জন দুঃখ গঞ্জন করুণাঘন কর্ম প্রাণর পান জগত তারণ প্রাণর পান জগত তারণ কৃষ্ণ বাঞ্ছানম কাম কাঞ্চন হতে বিন্দিত ইন্দ্রিয় ত্যাগে সার হে নার বার ত্যাগে সার হে নার বার দেহ পদে নির্ভয় গাতম সংশয় দৃঢ় নিশ্চয় মানস নিষ্কারণ ভকত শরণ নিষ্কারণ ভকত শরণ ত্যাজে যাতে সম্পদ তব শ্রীপদ ভব গোষ্পদ বারে প্রেমার পান সমুদার শান প্রেমার পান সমুদার শান জগ জান দুঃখ যায় সম্পদ তব শ্রীপদ ভব গোষ্পদ বারি যায় প্রেমার পান সমুদার শান প্রেমার পান সমুদার শান জগ জান দুঃখ যায় প্রভু বাকমনাতীত নমো নমো প্রভু বাকমনাতীত মন বচন আধার প্রভু মন বচন আধার জ্যোতির জ্যোতি উজ্জ্বল হৃদয় कंदर ज्योतिर ज्योति उज्जल हृदय कंदर तुमी तम भंजनहार प्रभु तुमी तम भंजनहार नमो नमो प्रभु बाकमनातीत नमो नमो प्रभु बाकमनातीत मन वचन एकाधार प्रभु मन वचन एकाधार ज्योतिर ज्योति उज्जल हृदय कंदर ज्योतिर ज्योति उज्जल हृदय कंदर तुमी तम भंजनहार प्रभु तुमी तम भंजनहार दे लंग रंग भंग बाजे अंग संग मृदंग दे लंग रंग भंग बाजे अंग संग मृदंग গাইছে ছন্দ ভকত বৃন্দ আরতি তোমার, গাইছে ছন্দ ভকত বৃন্দ আরতি তোমার, জয় জয় আরতি তোমার, হর হর আরতি তোমার, শিব শিব আরতি তোমার। খণ্ডন ভাব বন্ধন জগ বন্দন বন্দিত মায়। জয় শ্রী গুরু महाराज जी की जय। ओं ह्रीं ऋतं तमोचलो गुणाजित गुणेभ्यः नाक्तां तिवां सकरुणां तव पादपद्मं मोहाङ्कषां बहुकृतां न भजे जतोऽहं तस्मात्तमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो। भक्तिर्भगश्च भजनं भवभेदकारी गच्छन्तलं सुविपुलं गमनाय तृप्ततृष्णा रागे कृते ऋतपथे त्वयि रामकृष्णे मार्तामृतां तव पदं मरणोर्विनाशं तस्मात्तमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो। कृत्यं करोति कलुषं कुहकान्तकारी स्नान्तं शिवं सुविमलं तव नामनाथ। यस्मादहं त्वशरणो जगदेकगम्य तस्मात्तमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो। ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ॐ नमो श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ सर्वमङ्गल সাধিকে শরণে ত্রম্বকে গৌরী নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে সৃষ্টি স্থিতি বিনাশানাং শক্তি ভূতে সনাতনে গুণাশ্রয়ে গুণময়ে নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে শরণাগত দীনার্ত পরিত্রাণ পরায়ণে সর্বস্যার্থে হরে দেবী নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে জয় নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে জয় নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে জয় নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে জয় নারায়ণী নমোস্তুতে। जय महामाई की जय जय भगवान श्री रामकृष्ण देव की जय जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय।
नमः श्री अतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरे सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. So we were looking at this lecture, Real Nature of Man, and we had essentially by this process of analysis come to the conclusion that if one looks at what is real as that which is permanent, then it cannot lie in the body, it cannot lie in the mind. The last concept which we will be analyzing and removing now is essentially the notion of individuality. Yeah, and that's what one is coming to here. That's what Vivekananda is coming to here. And we just give this a name. I mean, this is substratum of or base of our existence, and it's called the Atman. Yeah, but really you can call it whatever you like. There's no need to be mystical or mystify the whole idea. It's where exactly is our existence based? More fundamentally, what does existence even mean? And here is the analysis that he gives. The different philosophies seem to agree. This is where we had ended last time, and we want to go ahead with this. The different philosophies seem to agree that this Atman, whatever it be, has neither form nor shape, and that which has neither form nor shape must be omnipresent, which essentially means that its existence is not qualified by being limited in space. It's not qualified by being limited in time. That's exactly the next sentence in this lecture. Time begins with mind. Space also is in the mind. Causation cannot stand without time. Without the idea of succession, there cannot be any idea of causation. Time, space, and causation, therefore, are in the mind. And as this Atman is beyond the mind and formless, it must be beyond time, beyond space, and beyond causation. Essentially, the basic frameworks through which we grasp the external world and call it real, the substratum of our existence or existence per se, is not conditioned by these ideas, by these fundamental ideas through which we grasp our day-to-day reality. Now, if it is beyond time, space, and causation, it must be infinite. Then comes the highest speculation in our philosophy. The infinite cannot be true, cannot be two. What exactly does that mean? It means that if there exists duality here, one is going to condition the other. One is going to limit the other. Yeah? And then it would not be here. What one means, I mean, here it's a philosophical infinity that is being talked about. Infinite means that which is not curtailed by something else. That's why this is this is the kind of analytical philosophy that's put forward. The infinite cannot be two. If the soul be infinite, there can be only one soul. And all ideas of various souls, you having one soul and I having another and so forth, are not real. This is the argument against a persistence of individuality. Where does the individuality really lie? It lies in the body and the mind that is conditioned to think that it is the body. Yeah. Now, once this sense of limitation goes and the substratum is identified as the real being, then what is its essence? It's not going to be qualified by individual bodies. The principle of individuation is exactly this body idea. That's the subtlest ramification of the body idea. Yeah. And if one is trying to get at that aspect of our being which is universal, then my soul is not different from yours. Yeah. This is really the basic part of this argument. The real man, therefore, is one and infinite, the omnipresent spirit. Again, omnipresent really means not qualified by space. And the apparent man is only a limitation of that real man. In that sense, the mythologies are true. So finally, so this is the point where we started. He comes back after having analyzed and thrown away the encrustations or the theologies and come to the basic fact that the true, the apparent man, however great he may be, is only a dim reflection of the real man who is beyond. The real man, the spirit, being beyond cause and effect, not bound by time and space, must therefore be free. And this seeking of freedom that we have within us stems forth from this recognition that this profound and deep aspect of our being is beyond cause and effect, beyond time, beyond space. It's only there that one can actually hope to find freedom. What exactly does freedom mean? I mean, when we say we seek freedom, we are basically seeking freedom from stuff that limits us. Now, where is the limitation? Where is the unlimited? Here, the word being used is infinite. You might as well use the word unlimited. It's the same connotation that is being conveyed philosophically. And if there exists another, then that other is going to effect a limitation on us. Which means that if you need to be free, that freedom has to be in the unlimited. And then the unlimited is not going to be conditioned by even the subtlest ramification of individuation. So, having started with the body idea and with the mythological ideas of the body persisting, finally one comes to the substratum of all this, where all differences cease. Because if differences persist, then one is going to condition the other, one is going to limit the other. Yeah? It is not going to be unlimited, it is not going to be free. So if we are going to take up this analysis and take it to its end, we must necessarily conclude with the unlimited, the infinite. Yeah? That's what is being conveyed here. The real man, the spirit, being beyond cause and effect, not bound by time and space, must therefore be free. He was never bound and could not be bound. The apparent man, the reflection, is limited by time, space, and causation, and is therefore bound. This is really the analysis, the viveka, of the two aspects of our being. That part which is caught within the framework of time, space, and causation, and that which is beyond. And if one is to be free, one is to identify with that aspect of our being which is not caught in the framework of time, space, and causation. This is the crux of the situation here. He was never bound and could not be bound. The apparent man, the reflection, is limited by time, space, and causation, and is therefore bound. Or, in the language of some of our philosophers, he appears to be bound, but really is not. This is the reality in our souls, this omnipresence, this spiritual nature, this infinity. Every soul is infinite, therefore, there is no question of birth and death. Yeah? This is the paragraph that we had gone into last time. Anything caught in the framework of time, space, and causation is subject to birth and death. This is within the framework of time. The question that is being asked is, where does time emerge from? If this was not part and parcel of our daily experience, this would just remain a speculative philosophy. the question, the hint to this aspect of our being that lies outside of time and space somehow has a hint in our day-to-day existence itself. When we ask this question, what exactly is the nature of time? The instinctive reaction is that what is time is really dictated by our waking state experience alone. But now think of yourself when you're dreaming. People dream where days go by. Is the sense of time in dream and the sense of time in our waking state the same? No. Because the notion of time, which is basically dictated by a sequence of events, changes from waking state to dream state. So what does this analysis, this understanding of our dream state, what does it tell us? It means that this notion of time in our waking state, which we were accustomed to thinking of as sacrosanct, beyond challenge, is in fact challengeable, is in fact not sacrosanct. You can question it. Yeah? Because it is part and parcel of every person's experience that the notion of time in one's waking state and the notion of time in one's dream state are different. Is there something else? Indeed, there is. What about the time when we are asleep but are not dreaming? A state called deep sleep. Does the notion of time even exist there? No. It's only when we come out of that we say that this I was asleep, I did not know anything. I did not know anything in terms of what? In terms of the usual things by which we grasp reality. What are those? Time, space, causation, and all that it entails. So those ideas, those fundamental frameworks through which we grasp reality, vanish in our deep sleep state. If the notion of time, the notion of space, the notion of causation was really so fundamental, it would have existed. If it was completely inviolable, then it would have stayed with us at every state of our existence, but it does not. In deep sleep state, the notion of space, time, causation vanishes. And our conclusion, we say that we did not know anything. Now that particular statement encodes really our assumptions. When we say we know something, it is always assumed that it is known in terms of time, space, and causation. And so what we are really trying to say when we are saying that I did not know anything when I was asleep is this experience of absence of time, space, and causation is not something I have the least familiarity with in my waking state. This is really the content of that statement. The notion of time, space, causation vanishes. Our usual methods of grasping reality in our waking state vanishes. And so we are unfamiliar, completely unfamiliar with that setup in our waking state. Now the question arises, well, typically a person spends 1/3 of his life asleep. To say that that part of one's existence is to be completely ignored is not a legitimate stand to take, because it's a reasonable part of one's existence, it's a recognizable part of one's existence, and it's not particularly special to anybody. It's part and parcel of everybody's existence. And therefore, if one is to try to analyze the substratum of one's existence itself, this state needs to be examined. The experience there, or equivalently, the complete difference of experience from the waking state experience needs to be understood, needs to be analyzed. Just saying that I did not know anything there because it is something that is completely unfamiliar to me is not a good enough explanation. It forces us to re examine this idea of knowledge that we have. Yeah? Sure, what you know there is very different from the method of knowledge that one uses in the waking state. But does that mean that my existence has vanished? No. So my existence is there in the deep sleep state just as much as it is there in the waking state. What has vanished? The notion of differentiation has vanished. Which means, see, this whole thing is supposed to be Vedanta leading towards Advaita. Advaita means non dual. It does not mean one, it's not monistic, it is not dualistic. Why? This existence of logical antipodes, it is this or it is not this. These are logical constructs which are part and parcel of our waking state mind. In deep sleep, that has vanished. Yeah? Duality has vanished. Advaita or this idea of Shunyavada in Buddhism, these would not have become practicable philosophies, yeah? Things to be practiced, if they were not part and parcel of our day-to-day experience. And this is really the point, that it is part and parcel of our day-to-day experience, and hence we can extract information by distilling that experience. Yeah, this is really where it lies. Okay, so now let's come back to this lecture again. Thus, when people cease to think of the past or future, when they give up the idea of a body, because the body comes and goes and is limited, then they have risen to a higher ideal. The body is not the real man, neither is the mind, for the mind waxes and wanes. It is the spirit beyond which alone can live forever. The body and mind are continually changing and are, in fact, only names of a series of changeful phenomena, like rivers whose waters are in a constant state of flux, yet presenting the appearance of unbroken streams. Every particle in this body is continually changing. No one has the same body for many minutes together, and yet we think of it as the same body. So, with the mind, one moment it is happy, another moment unhappy. One moment strong, another weak. An ever-changing whirlpool. That cannot be the spirit which is infinite, which basically is coming to the statement again that unlimitedness or infinity does not lie in change. Because if we can recognize change, it means that a changed entity is going to limit the state of the entity before the change. Yeah. So if you have something changing, what does it really mean? It means there was a situation A, now it has changed to a situation B. B is different from A, which means that B limits A. Similarly, A limits B. Yeah. So if as soon as you recognize change, you recognize limitation. Once you recognize limitation, it means that total freedom cannot be part and parcel of our being. I mean, our being, if you attribute permanence to our being, then that cannot lie in the change. More fundamentally, it cannot lie in time. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is exactly what he says here. So with the mind, one moment it is happy, another moment unhappy. One moment strong, another weak. An ever-changing whirlpool. That cannot be the spirit which is infinite. Change can only be in the limited. This is exactly what we said just a moment back. This is exactly what is summarized here by Vivekananda. Change can only be in the limited. To say that the infinite changes in any way is absurd. It cannot be. You can move and I can move as limited bodies. Every particle in this universe is in a constant state of flux. But taking the universe as a unit, as one whole, it cannot move. It cannot change. Motion is always a relative thing. I move in relation to something else. Any particle in this universe can change in relation to any other particle. But take the whole universe as one, and in relation to what can it move? There is nothing besides it. So this infinite unit is unchangeable, immovable, absolute. And this is the real man. Our reality, therefore, consists in the universal and not in the limited. These are old delusions. Very strong language here. These are old delusions, however comfortable they are, to think that we are little limited beings constantly changing. People are frightened when they are told that they are universal being everywhere present. Through everything you work, through every foot you move, through every lip you talk, through every heart you feel. Essentially, what one is doing here, the output of this analysis is deducing that part of our being which is universal, which is not conditioned by individual experiences, getting to the substratum of all existence, all knowledge, all joy. Yeah, this notion of feeling through the heart is really where, so basically the statement here, through every lip you talk, through every heart you feel. So what exactly are feelings based on? Finally, feelings are supposed to be based on, again, two antipodes, joy and absence of it, or woe. Yeah, sorrow. What exactly is the substratum of all feelings then? What is the substratum of all knowledge? What is the substratum of all willing or existence? So that's when you abstract out these aspects of our being, you give it a name, you call it existence, consciousness, bliss, Sat, Chit, Ananda, or truth, beauty, goodness in the Platonic framework. These are just words that you give it. These are attempts to conceptualize the fundamental substratum of our existence, but they do not manage to capture it at all. It's basically something like a finger pointing at a reality. These words are symbols pointing to something that lies beyond the symbolic framework. Yeah. And the way to get to that framework, therefore, is to recognize that there is no permanence in this individuality. There is permanence only in the universal aspect of things. As an individual, I was born, I will die. But as the substratum on which all individual existences are based, there was no birth, hence there can be no death. If one tries to say that, well, so and so was born, but it's going to go on forever, that just does not make sense. Anything caught within the framework of time appeared and must vanish. This is the thrust of this lecture. Okay. What is it? Which part of our being is it that is holding us back from this particular understanding? essentially it is clinging to our individuality. And this, where exactly does this individuality lie, is what Vivekananda examines next. People are frightened when they are told this. They will again and again ask you if they are not going to keep their individuality. And now the basic question, what is individuality? I should like to see it. A baby has no mustache. When he grows to be a man, perhaps he has a mustache and a beard. His individuality would be lost if it were in the body. If I lose one eye, or if I lose one of my hands, my individuality would be lost if it were in the body. Then a drunkard should not give up drinking because he would lose his individuality. A thief should not be a good man because he would thereby lose his individuality. No man ought to change his habits for fear of this. And then, therefore, the conclusion, there is no individuality except in the infinite, in the unlimited, in the unconditioned. That's what he means here. That is the only condition which does not change. Everything else is in a constant state of flux. Neither can individuality be in memory. Suppose on account of a blow on the head, I forget all about my past. Then I have lost all individuality. I am gone. I do not remember 2 or 3 years of my childhood. And if memory and existence are one, then whatever I forget is gone. That part of my life which I do not remember, I did not live. So, conclusion, that is a very narrow idea of individuality. Okay? So let me read on this a little further and we'll come back to this next time. We are not individuals yet. We are struggling towards individuality. Essentially, the idea being that when we claim that we are going to lose our individuality or are afraid of losing our individuality at death or in some change, what it really means is that we shall no longer exist. This is what one is afraid of. But what are we really trying to say? We are trying to say that we shall cease to exist as this limited being in terms of our day-to-day framework of grasping reality and going about our business, without analyzing which aspect of our being is caught in this framework, which part of our being lies beyond. Essentially, again, penetrating deeper into the nature of our existence itself and trying to catch hold of that part of our being which is not conditioned by space, not conditioned by time, not conditioned by causation. Again, if this was not part and parcel of our existence, then it would make no sense to do this. It would just remain purely speculative. The point is that it is part and parcel of everybody's existence. There is a state that we get into on a day-to-day basis, namely this deep sleep state, when time ceases, when space ceases, where causation ceases. In a dream state, time becomes different from what it is in the waking state, space becomes different from what it is in the waking state, causation becomes different from what it is in the waking state. Therefore, the idea, the suggestion that is being given here is look at your comprehensive experience. Do not declare that this waking state experience is all that there is. That's a patently false statement. Analyze the analysis of the experience both in the waking state and in the dream state. Pitch these two notions of time, space and causation, subjective notions of time, space and causation, against each other, and finally contrasted with a particular state where this notion of time, space, and causation vanishes altogether. That analysis, that analysis done with a calm mind, where is this? Where is this experience? This experience lies hidden in our mind itself. The point then is to try to look at this aspect of our experience in what way? Consciously. Being aware of these things that are going on in our consciousness. When our mind is trying to go off to sleep without any experience, our minds become dull. Even at that stage, can one maintain a certain awareness of what is going on in the body and mind? What is the effect of all this? The effect of all this is that the whole mind, the mind which goes to sleep, the mind which dreams, and the mind which responds in the waking state, it's the same mind. It is we ourselves who have decided to fragment it into these pieces. And then we say that no, only this fraction of our experience is worth examining. The rest of it is less real than this. But as experience, it is equally real. Can we draw up all that experience and look at it as an integral whole? Aspects of our personality, aspects which are emotive, aspects which are intellectual, aspects which are volitional. Can we unify that? Because our being is unified. It is the substratum for all these aspects through which we function. These are things through which we function. These are not the substratum of our being. These are not what we call the real I, the real substratum of our existence, the real being. The real being is something which functions through these channels. Can we become aware of that? This part, this particular aspect, you do not need to subscribe to any theology. You do not even need to subscribe to any religion, because it's something that goes with you all the time. You're there with yourself all the time. All that this is saying is essentially just become aware of it. Essentially, identify the substratum of our existence in and through every life experience. What is the practical output? And the Bhagavad Gita in one place says, Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. It will free us from great fear. What is the great fear? Essentially, the great fear, if you boil it down, it is, I will cease to exist. This is the bottom line. Yeah. Where does that come from? It comes from this recognition of change in day-to-day life. Once one recognizes that, once one becomes aware of that, this fear from which stem all kinds of violence, all the ills, so to speak, all of that vanishes, because one recognizes there is nothing that can effect the slightest iota of change in this unchangeable substratum of our own existence, to which we give a name. We call it the Atman, but it really means the substratum of our existence, which is not caught within the framework of space, time, and causation. Yeah? It's an attempt. All of this then is a way of thinking which gives rise to this analysis and allows us to catch hold of that locus, the center of our being, from which all the volitional, the emotional, and the intellectual aspects stem forth, including our faculty for rest. Yeah? That substratum of our existence, catch hold of it, and understand that this is really where my I is. Once one identifies with that, yeah, this is a constant practice. Yeah, this is something that we can do at any point of our time, just be becoming aware of our existence. Yeah, and this constant practice, what happens is that it trains the mind in catching hold of this part of our existence, which is not swayed by various phenomena outside. Yeah. And even the slightest amount of practice of this, it gives one great poise. Yeah. It helps to treat external situations as changeful, as not something permanent, as something that will not affect us or not affect us in some permanent sense. Yeah? Let me stop there. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.